Williamsburg is a pretty place. The downtown has old buildings, historic buildings. It's a small town, but it's pretty lively. There are a lot of activities, a lot of people involved in things.
It's a small town, but there are a lot of interesting, creative people. It's a town that's trying to retain its rural character.
Williamsburg is a town in transition. It has a long history of agriculture and industrial buildings that are mostly have left, and agriculture has mostly left as well.
We have the potential here of just being one long strip mall that's totally unlivable. How do you keep that from happening? And at the same time encourage businesses to come into town. It's the first town you come to out of the top of the Berkshires that has a grocery store, a bank, a hardware store, a pharmacy, really functioning as a town. We need to think about how we keep it that way. And one of the ways you do that is you make it easier for people to live downtown. We are an aging population, but there are a lot of older people who have lived here for generations. And they are sort of the glue in some respects that makes the town what it is.
And so the struggle becomes, how do you keep the best of what you had as much as you can and still allow for change to happen because it's absolutely necessary if you're going to survive? That's the trick, and that's where I think professional help really comes forward.
Healthy Hampshire is a great component for our work because it focuses the attention on a very common denominator of human existence, which is our health.
Healthy Hampshire is the massive motion program for several towns in Hampshire County, including Williamsburg. All of the work that we do are sort of big picture, working with local governments, coordinating initiatives around healthy food access and community walkability.
I move that the town vote to approve a capital improvement plan as prepared by the Capital Planning Committee and approved by the Finance Committee, including...
This town has a lot of committees. We have some professional staff, but not a lot. We have some hours, but not a tremendous amount. So those committees really do carry the bulk of the workload, whether it's the planning board with zoning laws or the Greenway with a new bike path. That's how we get things done.
We have to form a committee every time something has to happen. But if you can get the committee formed and you can get people to be enthusiastic about it and do their piece, we slowly move and slowly turn the ship.
My name's Gabby Immerman. I live in Haydenville. I've been the chair of the Greenway Committee for about 4 years now. Williamsburg, it consists of two villages, Haydenville and Williamsburg. They're about 2 miles apart. Currently, there is no way to get from Haydenville to Williamsburg other than getting in your car. The Greenway Committee is planning for a non-motorized connection between Haydenville and Williamsburg. It allows us to build a chorus of support that comes from all quadrants. This is a wellness project for our town. Economic wellness, physical health wellness, mental health wellness, ecological wellness. It truly is a public health project.
My name is Jean O'Neill. I'm on the planning board as of about a year ago. Older adults in Williamsburg are a growing population. We, I think, have an obligation to try and keep things safe and secure for our elders, and we don't want them to have to move out of town.
All those committees are really willing to work together and try to approach issues with the same lens, and health has been one of those lenses. So we did the Healthy Aging project that we worked on with the Williamsburg Council on Aging and the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, bringing older folks together in Williamsburg to determine what are some of the barriers to aging in place, and then what are some of the solutions to address those barriers, really looking at that systemic level.
And I saw it over and over again. People wanting to downsize, no longer being able to live in town, and then moving to facilities outside of town. The history of this town is made up of of the elders. And we're not honoring those people that way. We need to keep them here. We need to make it possible for them to live here. And so I think that zoning changes were very needed.
What we were hearing from people was that it was challenging to age in place because of some of the zoning constraints around housing development.
Article 33. Is there a motion under Article 33?
I move that the town vote to amend the town of Williamsburg zoning bylaw as follows by designating... People underestimate how much effort it takes just to create a simple bylaw. So this year we spent quite a lot of time preparing for the town meeting, and it went pretty well. And every new bylaw was approved overwhelmingly.
All in favor of the motion, say yes. Yes. All opposed, say no. The motion carries by a 2/3 vote.
The town passed some zoning changes at the town meeting to address some of the housing issues around healthy aging.
I've walked with Healthy Hampshire for complete streets, looking at traffic, looking at pedestrian traffic, and looking at the condition of our sidewalks and crosswalks. That is initiated planning on our part of our town.
We did pass at town meeting a line item to get a couple of safety beacons so that we can hopefully help that. Getting the kids from the library to the school across Route 9.
You know, we have 2.5 paid employees in our town office. We don't have a city planner.
So the outside help that we have received has been enormously helpful here in town. Organizations like Pioneer Valley Planning Commission or Healthy Hampshire, but they have stepped forward and said, listen, we can help you. If we were just operating by ourselves, we wouldn't be able to do half of that or even a tenth of that.
I feel like it brought a lot of resources to the town that might not have been there otherwise. It made a lot of sense to me to get involved with a larger initiative that was addressing long-range planning and bigger issues around health.
There are many devoted and passionate citizens of Williamsburg. I think we're extremely fortunate in that regard.
Recently, we had an annual town picnic, which was labeled Revelation Day. And it was a real celebration of the town coming together in our town center. And we had different committees and projects displaying what was going on in town.
The antecedents for any kind of public infrastructure planning has to begin by changing the way in which a local population sees its own community, because then people become more protective of that place and more interested in expanding and maintaining it.
There are towns that are losing population, towns that are losing all their infrastructure. They are really struggling, and this planning that we do is a way of making the town more attractive, making it more inclusive. It's not just about crossing a street, it's making this a home for everybody, so that when you do cross the street, you get to the other side, you're safe, and everyone feels good about the process.